You don't believe that you deserve good things. So when you get good things, you destroy them. No one that truly loves themselves will constantly violate their own conscience. And self-sabotage is a form of self-hate. You manage somehow to shit on your own excellence. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. As you guys know, this is the year of self-development on this channel, okay? So today I want to talk about self-sabotage, right? These are some of the things that get in the way of truly being able to develop ourselves in order to succeed in life, to succeed in business, to succeed in relationships, and just to succeed, period. I find there's a lot of people self-sabotaging their own success. And I kind of want to delve into it today. This isn't a topic that I've actually talked about before, so it's totally new, but I feel that it's a topic that a lot of you may actually need. Let's get into it. So this morning in my study time, I was reading James 1, and this scripture really stood out to me. It's a scripture that I've actually read a lot, and I've been able to, glean from it and to really receive from it. But as I was thinking about the topic of self-sabotage, I feel like this scripture is very fitting. And it talks about, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives liberally. This is the part that I want to hone in on. It says, but let him ask in faith without doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let that man or woman suppose that they will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all of his ways. When I first read that scripture, I was taken aback. I was like, whoa! Bible's coming for me, Bible's coming for my double-mindedness, my instability. But when you think about a wave, right? And a wave being tossed to and fro, it's backwards. It's being tossed backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. I know, I don't know. I know, I don't know. I want, I don't want. I want, I don't want. Right? Does that kind of explain what goes on in your mind on a day-to-day basis? If that does describe what's going on in your mind, you may be experiencing double-mindedness. And it's like you're up, you're down, you want, you don't want, you know, you don't know, I'm unsure, I'm sure, I'm unsure, right? And it's like, let your yes be yes and your no be no. But I really believe that the root of self-sabotage is double-mindedness. What you're saying with your lips on the outside isn't matching what's on the inside, as in what truth you believe on the inside, right? That's why it may feel like in life that you're taking 10 steps forward, but then 14 steps back. You keep undoing all the things that you've done, right? You keep climbing up the ladder and then climbing back down again. Why? Recently, I've been watching clips on YouTube of this show called Love and Marriage of Huntsville. I'm very behind. I've been listening and looking at the story between Melody and her husband Martel, who had been cheating on her in their 13-year marriage for 5 years of the marriage. It got me thinking about self-sabotage and how men typically, when they cheat, they will literally have what we would call the perfect life, the beautiful home, the beautiful wife, the beautiful children. Your life is so in order, your life is enviable for people that don't have it. But for that person, it's clearly not enough. Or that's what it may seem, because that man will choose to throw all of that away for a peasant, literally a peasant, like a side chick, someone that has nothing to lose. Why do they do that? And then it's also similar to celebrities who have all the money in the world. They have everything that you could possibly want materialistically in this life. But then you find them strung out on drugs, addicted to alcohol, just like that homeless guy at the end of your street. There's no difference between them internally, apart from one has money and one doesn't. These two people have the same things in common internally, and that is a sense of worthlessness. Because let's be honest, nobody, and I mean nobody, that loves themselves will allow drugs into their body. Nobody who loves themselves will cheat on the person that they made vows to spend the rest of their life with. No one that truly loves themselves will constantly violate their own conscience. And self-sabotage is a form of self-hate. hate, you don't like yourself, you don't love yourself, and you do not respect yourself. I mean, we talk about people sabotaging us, right? Imagine you being the one that's doing that, right? Imagine anybody trying to sabotage you and sabotage your livelihood or sabotage your family or sabotage what you care about. But imagine that you're the perpetrator. And so because I'm speaking to those of you who are dealing with self-sabotage, because you don't love yourself, you don't believe that you deserve good things. So when you get good things, you destroy them. You don't know how to look after nice things, love nice things, value nice things or good things, because what happens when you hate yourself and you are dealing with self-sabotage is that good things become your enemy. They make you feel uncomfortable. So I remember a tweet that Meek Mill made, and I actually put it in one of my videos on F-Boys, and I'll just put it on the screen here. But it made total sense to me and explained a lot of 21st century men and how they will have a good girl and treat her so badly. It's like they feel too out of place, too ugly, too inadequate, too insufficient. So what do? They destroy it. And so if anyone's ever been in that position, let it be known. It's not a defect in you, it's a defect in him. And so when we speak about being or feeling out of place, there's a scripture that I want to read, and it is Proverbs 11:2, and it says, "As a ring of gold in a pig's snout, so is a beautiful woman who is without discretion. Her lack of character mocks her beauty." A gold ring is out of place in a pig's nose. And just to kind of elaborate on that, have you ever been to a upscale, a fancy restaurant, and you just feel so out of place? You feel like everyone's looking at you, you feel like everybody's judging you, everybody's watching you, and everybody's wondering, why are you there? And can I just say that that is because your environment on the outside is not matching your environment on the inside, right? So you can be in the most beautiful place and feel so ugly and unattractive and unworthy, because a lot of people talk about having money and how money will solve everything and it's okay for this person because they have money. But what some of you guys fail to understand is that if you hate yourself now, you can be in the best position and still hate yourself even more in that position, because everybody now expects you to be comfortable in a place that you are not comfortable, because you are not comfortable within yourself. Me, on the other hand, when I go to a fancy restaurant, even when I didn't have money, right? Even if I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, I deserve to be in this place. And it's about bloody time. There's no war going on inside me. I deserve to be here. And people can think whatever they want to think. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. And there's an African proverb that I love, and it says, when there is no enemy within, the enemy outside or the enemy without can do you no harm. And I truly, truly, truly stand by that, right? As long as you are in a boat and the water is outside, you have no problem. The moment the water comes into the boat is when you begin to sink. So can we talk about the enemy within for a moment? Self-sabotage is the act of destroying or undermining something, often in a covert way. So you destroy things from the inside out. And the term self-sabotage is used when the destruction is turned inwards. And it is no surprise we are our most trusted critic. So why are we so judgmental to ourselves? And I think it's because we know what we did last summer. We know our most darkest thoughts. We know when we're shaking this person's hand with the biggest grin on our face. We know the evil thoughts going on in the inside, right? We know that we could potentially fool other people, but we can't fool ourselves. And so when you are at war with yourself internally, you have no rest. And a lot of energy is actually spent on trying to look a certain way, trying to act like you've got things together, when deep down, you know the truth. So I want to talk a little bit about negative self-talk, because everything starts in here. When we talk about inside, we're actually really talking about up here. So let's say you are trying to achieve something and you are more than capable of doing just that. But some way, somehow, you manage to talk yourself out of it. You manage somehow to shit on your own excellence. When something good is happening, you almost instantly get a feeling of dread. And I think there's a word for it, foreboding joy. And foreboding joy is basically when something really good is happening to you, but all of a sudden you get the terror. Like, I remember I was in Dubai. I was by myself and I was in the pool. The sun was shining and the scenery was beautiful and everything looked so amazing. But then all of a sudden, I looked up at the top floor. Obviously the hotel was tall. And I thought, imagine if someone threw themselves out of the window, dived headfirst, and the pool became a pool of blood. I literally was thinking, and then I was like, what are you thinking, Breeny? What are you talking about? Like, that is kind of an extreme example, but I kind of wanted to kind of bring it to life. But it's that excitement. You're so excited about something. Everything is good is happening. But partially you're thinking, oh snap, something really bad is about to happen. And that's almost what happens with self-sabotage. It's when you suddenly get feelings of doom and failure. Like, what you're doing is not going to fail. It's actually going to succeed. But because of this idea, this concept of failure that you've now, like, it's come to your mind, and you now attached yourself to that thought, and now it's become true to you. So now in your mind, everything's going to fail, right? It's all going down. So what do? You begin to tear it down with your own hands. Success does not stand a chance in this moment, because what you're feeling on the inside has to match your experience on the outside. There's a term for this when it doesn't match, and it's called cognitive dissonance, right? And it's impossible for anybody to live a successful life with cognitive dissonance when you hold two opposing truths to be true. So in your mind, it's going to fail. On the outside, it's succeeding. Instead of bringing your thoughts to succeed with what's actually happening on the outside, you brought your thoughts to failure. Now what's happened on the inside is now what's going to happen on the outside, and everything has failed. And it may not have failed, but you've caused it to fail. You've given up because you thought, this is just useless and worthless. I can't do this. I can't do anything right. There are many ways in which we cause failure to happen in our lives, or we self-sabotage. And this can be with procrastination, putting something off until tomorrow, starting something and not finishing it, laziness, absent-mindedness, as in you're not even going to think about it, creating distractions, which means spending endless time scrolling on social media when you should be finishing that exam paper, should be finishing that article, should be finishing whatever you're supposed to be finishing, when you're sitting on social media judging other people's businesses instead of creating your own. And this is a thought. There are times when you may self-sabotage because you want to be in control, right? Let me explain. You're going to be like,
yeah, I failed that exam because I didn't want to study. I broke up with that nice guy because he was just too boring. Yeah, I had that money to start a business, buy a house, but I decided to buy a new car instead.
and you're laughing, but ain't shit funny. And you tell that story as though you were the one in control of the outcome. So nobody can look at you and be like, oh, what a failure. That person just ruined it for themselves. No, I'm in control. No, I actually didn't even want him, right? No, I didn't want to buy that house. You're only kidding yourself in that moment. The truth is, you self-sabotage that opportunity, and now you have nothing to show for it apart from a few jokes. And a lot of people that use jokes or hide behind jokes use it as a form of passive aggressiveness. So let's bring it back. Negative self-talk and negative self-esteem is what causes self-sabotage. You don't believe in yourself and you don't believe yourself. Okay, Breeny, I get it. I have a problem. So what's the solution? Well, I'm glad you are. Number one is becoming aware of the many ways in which you self-sabotage and recognizing the lies you tell yourself. And then you find what the truth is behind that lie. So grab a piece of paper. We know we're practical on this channel. Grab a piece of paper and write down all of the limiting beliefs, all the things that you believe to be true about yourself. I promise you, I did this. This is my journal from 2017. And this is an exercise that I hope to do in my soul surgery masterclass. I know people have been asking me about it. Please have patience with me. I'm trying to build a good, solid infrastructure that when we start, we keep on rolling, okay? Look, as you guys can see here, it says limiting beliefs, right? And I wrote down the lie, and then I wrote down what the truth is. I'll be vulnerable in this moment, okay? One of the examples is, no one will ever love me. I have too many issues. And then the truth is, my issues aren't who I am. It is a small part, and I have 99,000 things that are good about me. Next one, I am hard to love. That's a lie. The truth is, those who have the grace to love me, it will be easy for them to love me. Lie, I am a complicated person. The truth, I think uniquely and God made me complex. There's a lot that I had to get off my chest. So you have to confront the lies and write the truth, okay? And that's number one. Number two, you have to become an encouraging voice in your mind and not a discouraging voice in your mind. Your voice has to ask the question, what if I win? And not what if I fail? And you've really got to become team you, right? I win in life because I'm on my team. I'm on my side. I'm not against me, right? And when we talk about believing in ourselves, it means you're on the same team. You're rooting for you. You're on your side. So if I'm rooting for myself and I want the best for myself, I'm going to make the decisions that are necessary, regardless of how I may feel at the time. And what I want you guys to know and understand is that feelings are not facts, right? Feelings show up. One day I feel like this, the next day I feel like this. There used to be a time when I used to hate sharing how I felt with my friends because I know that the next day it's going to change, but they're still going to hold this idea that I said yesterday or last week as though it was true. And it kind of made me feel like I don't really want to, share this. But feelings change and feelings aren't facts. I think it was Chipmunk that said, take them in and let them go, right? The third thing that I want to say is therapy will help you with identifying these limiting beliefs, these things that hold you back, right? So don't be afraid to get extra professional counseling or therapy. And you guys can check out the link in my description box with a link to BetterHelp. And the last thing I want to say is that you need to set up an auto response for when the negative feelings of anxiety or fear, of doubt, of dread, you need a phrase that you will say to combat that. For example, I am fully capable of completing what I started, and I am worthy of winning. And it has to be a gentle voice. It has to be a kind voice. So whatever that phrase is, I want you guys to write it down in the comment section below. So I have some amazingly exciting news. I'm going to start with affirmations on the Pep Talk podcast. So there will be morning affirmations, evening affirmations, success affirmations, self-esteem affirmations. So they're coming super fast to the podcast. So don't miss out on my podcast. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? I think last year I got over 700,000 downloads, right, on my podcast. So I'm so excited for those who have been supporting and playing back and listening and downloading and sharing. I'm so excited. There's so much to come on the podcast this year. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It is literally everywhere, okay? All the information will be in the description box below. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you guys write in a comment box below what's going to be the phrase or the slogan that you encourage yourself with when those negative thoughts of self-sabotage come along, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.